He always sang a song when he started off by burning quiet villages, killing peaceful civilians. He felt happier to put an end to any woman's, old man's and child's life with a dagger on his belt. He will increase the number of victims in his account. This time he set off for the Qaradagli village. He was Manvel Yegizaryan, who commanded Arabo group of Armenian mercenary terrorists. Aramo group. It consisted of cutthroat murderers. They have their own signatures. They burned the bodies of peaceful civilians after killing them. This group was commanded by Aram Torgomyan. He killed dozens of sinless people in France by signing for massive bloodshed actions, but he remained unpunished for crimes. Murdering people and carrying out explosions were his profession. Therefore, he grew nervous when someone was not tragically killed. He was coldly indifferent to the personality, age, and gender of the killed. The main thing was that the killer should perform his duty well. He was Monte Melkonyan, nicknamed Avo, a leader of Asala terrorist organization. Manvel, Aram, and Monte. On February the 17th, 1992, these three terrorists were the massacre leaders in the Qaradagli village, and these three terrorists would have deserved fitting punishment for their leadership of both massacres. Arabo and Arama group militants threw 38 captives of peaceful civilians, including women, into the well, not far from the Qaradagli village. The soldiers of Arabo and Aramo groups shot the captives dead and cut them all with their knives. Member of patriotic group from Ashtarak, Edir by name, poured petrol over several men and burned them with matches. And when Monte approached the trenches, he saw the remains of the burnt bodies there. The genocide has been committed. 68 civilians of Azerbaijani nationality were killed in the end of the massacre. And the main subject of the film is not only to depict the horrors of Armenian terrorists in the Qaradagli village. Law investigates the process of the crime and gives an assessment of the event taken place at the moment of the crime. This is the duty of law. This film investigates the issues that haven't been touched upon concerning the Qaradagli genocide and the genocide which has been carried out and is still continuing up to the present. This film tells us about the fate of the children whose parents were killed by Armenians during the Qaradagli tragedy. Both of these babies were deprived of their father, one after 2 years of his birth, the other before his birth. The latter is deprived of his birthday too.
Fevralın 17-si mənim atamın yenidən doğulduğu tarixdir, mənim cismimdə. Çünki qəribə də olsa, yəni təsadüfdür ki, mən 17 fevraldan adam olmuşam. Bu ərəfələrdə də bizim kənd işğal olunub, atam bu ərəfələrdə şəhid olub.
20 ilimin demək olar ki, ən yaxşı günlərimi əsgərlik, hərbi həyatında keçirtmişəm. Çünki mən orada olanda daha çox hiss edirdim. Mən ilk dəfə atamı orada yuxuda görmüşəm. Yəni düz üzün görməsəm də, amma ilk dəfə orada yuxumda görmüşəm.
Their mother, Khuraman Khanım, took great pains to bring them up without letting them feel fatherless life. But there were bounds. It was beyond the bounds of possibility. When the children grew and went to school and saw other children going together with their fathers, a question arose by itself. And where's my father?
Büyüyəndə hər şey Özüm başa düşərsən dedim oğlum. Onların o ata kəlməsində çox dillərinə gətirmirdilər. Çünki yox idi.
Khuraman Khanım, her sons, Rashad and Farid, are not the only ones who are deprived of seeing their fathers since their childhood and asking about their fathers. There are 146 children from Qaradagli. Dozens of mothers from Qaradagli feel quite helpless in the face of the question, "Where's my father?"
Ben balacılı vaxt olanda mamaya deyirdim ki, bəs hamı qəbr üstünə gedir də. Biz getmirik atamın üstünə, qəbr üstünə. Deyir ki, kızım, atanın qəbr üstü burada yoxdur. Daha ermənilərin yanındadır. Sonra da demədim.
Ayşan found her consolation in her mother. It was her mother, Zernishan Khanım, who always encouraged her, but her mother couldn't endure such a life, and the inner pain caused her death. When she breathed her last sigh, she said, "I'm going to stay with Mobile," and then closed her eyes forever.
Çətindir çox. Anam rəhmətə gedəndən sonra laf çətindir. Anam da yoxdur həyatda.
Khanım Huseynova. 4 people in her family were killed by Armenian terrorists. Khanım was 7 then. On September the 8th, 1991, Armenians shot to death 8 of the passengers in the bus on the route between Davam and Qaradagli. Khanım's mother, Rahila Huseynova, was among them. 5 months later, on February the 16th, her brother Khan Ali became a martyr in the battles of Qaradagli. A day passes. On February the 17th, Khanım's father Habib and brother Ibish were taken captives among the civilians when their village was occupied by Armenians. Ibish was 15 years old then. Khanım couldn't go on speaking. She looked through the photos for 20 minutes. Khanım has felt her parents' warmth, her brothers Khan Ali and Ibish's caress for 7 years, and now she's looking for her lost parents among the cold photos, stroking their faces one by one. Suddenly, she stopped her talk and said that she felt bad. Her brothers spoke instead.
Erməni heç bir vaxt bizim haqqımızı qaytara bilməz. Ona görə ki, onlar bizim çörəyimizi yedi, bizə belə sonra arxadan zərbə vurdular.
O bir kiçik qardaşım, yəni onun məzarını bilinmir. Silos quyusuna deyil ermənilər. Burada silos quyusuna bastırıblar. Çox ağır olub. Ondan xəbərimiz yoxdur.
Graves under the snow, in the cold, impatiently waiting for visitors. The people who wish to pay a visit to those graves are growing. These people get acquainted with their lost fathers in Qaradagli, speak to them in their dreams, make conversation there.
Sözünüzü içmən, öldü kimi qəbul eləmirəm. Nə fikrimizə yaşayır, nə vaxtsa gəlir. Yuxunda da elə girib ki, yaşayır, ölmüyor. Bir-iki dəfə öldüyün ağlıma gətirdim. Yuxuda gördüm ki, mən nə gözüm. Açıq əlim, ilk bir zona görmüşdüm. Bir dəfə yerə yuxuma girdim. Onu öldü kimi qəbul edildi, yuxuda mən nə gözüm. Çağından nahlə vermədi. Ondan sonra heç inanmıram. Məncə yaşayır.
It was November the 20th, 1991. Afiga's father Imran was taking her towards the helicopter that came to the village for the last time. He held his daughter by the hand so tightly as if he didn't want to leave her. The end of his life with her was only a matter of seconds away. Imran was aware that he would never see his daughter after the helicopter took off.
Ben onun son bakışlarının gözümün önünde hiç süre çekindirebilmem.
The daughter longing for her father's looks, the daughter reproaching herself for parting with the father. A figure will never find those looks, those eyes which gave her life. Every time she recalls her eternal parting, her heart sinks, her hands start trembling.
Sakin birisiydi. Ama keşke onun gözünün yaşını töktüğünü göreydiniz ki o nece gözünün yaşını töküldü bizden ötürü.
Afiga's mother, Hagigat Hanım, witnessed all horrors committed in Qaradagli. She was taken captive. Each of them kept a cartridge in order not to be held captive. But the last battle was so fierce that they expended all cartridges. It was impossible to liberate the village from Armenian occupation. Young people got into one, old men and women got into 2 Kamaz cars, and they were forced to leave the village. Horrors followed one after another. The Armenians were laughing and killing, killing and laughing.
Oğlana, oğul, kılçasından neçe den avtomat koydular onu Allah bilir. Kollar, kılçaların kırdılar, kolların kırdılar. Temiz bedenin delme deşi elediler. Gördüler keçinmir, yüreğinden bir defa vurdular. Derim sana belki 30 tane, 40 tane avtomat açtılar hemen oğlana.
Is there any difference how he was killed? The reality is that he was killed because he was an Azerbaijani. Güldana and Khayala, they are cousins. They both lost their fathers on February the 17th, 1992. One was at the age of 3, the other came into the world 4 months after her father was martyred. But Khayala was not lucky to be in father's embrace. The family had only one daughter. As they grow, their tragic story also continues and breaks their hearts.
Atasız günlerim danışar. Yuxudan duranda ata yüzünü görməmişəm. Məktəbə gedəndə görməmişəm. Dərsdən evə qaydanda görməmişəm. Toyumda yanımda olmuyor. İsterdim ki hamı gəlinlikdə olanda atası yanında olduğu kimi mən də yanında olsun, amma olmuyor.
İstəyirəm ki, atamın qəbrini üstə.
When Güldana was a bride, her father was not beside her, and this was the greatest tragedy in her life. She's living this tragic life today. She's living this tragic life today and tomorrow. This tragedy will always grieve her. Güldana will feel that she might be stigmatized as being deprived of a father in her life by this tragedy. One can't find a person in whose life the Qaradagli massacre hasn't left traces of blood. Mothers are starved of a happy life. Their lives are filled with tears by this genocide.
Heç nəyin qarşısında aciz olduğum evlatlarıma bildirmək istəməmişəm. Çünki həyatda hər yə bir cür bəxş olur. Bu həyatı da mən yaşamalıyım. Amma daxilimdə həmişə kövrəkliyim qalıbdı. Kövrəkliyim olubdu. Çünki o həyatdan doymadım.
Sons and daughters who recognize their fathers in the photos. Sons and daughters who talk to their fathers sitting face to face with their photos, concealing their conversation from their mothers.
Ata-ana vacisi görməmişəm. Məktəbə gedəndə atasız, hamının iclasda hamının atası gələndə mənim atam keçməyib. Elə bir dənə şəkildən tanıyıram ki, bu mənim atamdır. Üzünü görməmişəm, nəfəsini duymamışam. İstilik.
Xəlvət tapıb 2 dəfə baxmışam. Evdə bu haqda axtarmamışam da şəklini ki, evdə görəyəm, daim pis olarlar. Ona görə istəməmişim. Bir şəklini ilə xəlvət saxlayıram. Heç kəsinə xəbəri yoxdur ki, o şəkil mənlədir.
Tək qalmaqdan ondan şəklin üzbəüz qorxmuşammış. Yəni, elə bir ki, onun tək üzbəüz qalanda mənə suallar verəcək, mən cavab verəməyəcəm. Qisas niyə alınmayıb, niyə yoxdur?
Today, each of them is going to pay a visit to the graveyard in Qaradagli, and everyone knows well what to say there. They also know how to go to the graveyard.
O məzarın üstünə necə getmək də vardı. Biri var, mən intiqamımı alıb gedir. Yəqin ki, ilk sözüm mən gəldi ata.
Birinci sözüm olacaq ki, ata bağışda ki, gec aldıq buranı.
Mothers who cannot forgive themselves. They cannot forgive themselves for not being fathers and will never do. Because no one can hold a father's place. No one can show fatherly love and warmth. Neither does a mother.
Bu hər zaman mənim həyatımda olan əskiliyimdir. Övladlarıma verə bilmədiyim şeylərdir. Ama ben müəllimdən hayatımın en güzel çağında ayrılmışım. Xoşbəxt ailəydik. 2 övladımız vardı. Hər ikimiz ali təhsilliydik. Ancaq xoşbəxt gələcək haqqında fikirləşirdik. Elə biləm ki, ya baxsa bu ömür bir də davam edəcək. Ya baxsa gələcəyinə bax.
These people are victims of the Qaradagli genocide. They are people who have felt bitterness of that genocide up to nowadays, whose tears from their eyes haven't been dried due to deprivations after genocide, who have lived a life full of grief but not joy. So the genocide is still continuing.
Bax bu çağımdayım, 71 yaşım var. Bu saatı deyirlər, gəl yolları sən bilirsən, düş qabağa get gedərəm. Bax bu çağımda gedərəm. Nədən ki, ölürəm o vətəndən örtü, o torpaqdan örtü.
Torpağı vətən eləyən o torpağın üzərindəki şəhid qanıdır. Və bir insan yaşadığı vətən üçün, o boya başa çatdığı vətən üçün əgər ölməyi bacarmırsa, mənə elə gəlir ki, o adam o vətən üçün yaşamağı da bacarmasın. Yəni bizdən əvvəlkilər bizim üçün, bu vətən üçün şəhid oldular. Biz də bu vətən üçün, bu torpaq üçün, namusumuz, qeyrətimiz üçün şəhid olmalıyıq. Bizdən sonrakılar da. Yəni bunu bacarmayan insan torpaq üstündə niyə yaşayır ki? Vətən bir dəfə də olur və əbədidir.
Bir insanın bir gözü ağlayanda bir gözü gülür. Yəni mən 17 fevralı bir gözümlə ağlamışam, bir gözümlə gülmüşəm.
Manuel, Aram and Monte. The National Army soldier Ibad Husseinov made the last one fall to his knees in the Mughallli village of Khojavand and punished for the actions in Qarabağ, including Qaradagli and Khojali. Both Manuel and Aram are still living. Manuel and his friend Serge Sarkasyan live and perform their actions even today. Thus, the genocide is continuing. The genocide is continuing because the world doesn't like such people, but call the murderer a sister. The genocide is continuing because the world is helpless in punishing the murderer. The world is weak and powerless against the murderer who made mothers shed their tears, who deprived children of their fatherly caress. The genocide is continuing because the world is unable to differentiate good from evil, a victim from a murderer. Rashad is a 2-year-old boy. His birthday was on the day when his father became a martyr, the day when the Qaradagli genocide was committed. For this reason, he doesn't celebrate his birthday, and therefore the Qaradagli genocide is still continuing.
Səni ad günü deyilən bir məhkumdan məhrum ediblər.
Özüm məhrum eləmişəm.
Nəyə görə?
Mənim haqqım çatmır ad günü qeyd eləmək.
Elə bir gün olacaq ki, sən ad gününü qeyd eləyəcəksən.
İnşallah Qaradağlıda.